Hi there again, guys, and here we go again. Today we have the Cleveland Naps at the Washington Senators. This is another 1908 game. It's May 26th, last game we have of the day. Quick look at the standings. Cleveland now has only a half-game lead over St. Louis. Remember, they lost the day before. Who did they lose that game to? Let me look here at my notes really quick. They lost that to Philadelphia, that's right. The Philadelphia Athletics, who are coming back up. And it is quite a mess there in the American League. National League, as we know, is still stable in the hands of the Giants, so the Cubs are starting to come back. And we'll see if the Pirates can get something going as well. The Phillies, too, with a nice winning streak, but they're all pretty far behind. And with no further ado, we will have at it here. It'll be Josh Clark here for Cleveland. And Clark's first roll is a 25 for an 11, so he hits a single to left field, and then as Bradley's up there, Clark able to steal second. That does bring up Bill Bradley, who's hitting 206 here with Long Tom Hughes on the mound. Hughes, so you know, is a 3-7 record. Hughes has a 3.29 ERA, and the league is hitting 247 off of him. So Hughes doing quite well so far for the Senators, despite the record. And despite the ERA, I suppose. Here comes Bradley. And his roll there, 22 for an 8. That'll be a comebacker back to Hughes, who throws to first for the out. Clark moves up to third base, and there's one away. Here comes Napoleon LaJoie. And his roll is a 62 for a 12. There will be a little E-roll. It's a 55, so it's out of the range. That's going to be a fly ball over to right field. Hickman makes that catch, and then, it's Clymer makes that catch, and then he throws home to Gabby Street, who tags the runner Clark out, and that does it for the top of the first inning. And so we go now to the bottom of the first inning, no score. Here is Otis Clymer. And it was Clymer who made that catch and that big throw. And his roll is a 15 for an 11. That's a single and then a stolen base. That'll bring up Bob Ganley. The Senators are up against Addie Joss today. Joss with a 9-3 record, the 1.58 ERA, and a 2.01 batted against average. And he has actually been pitching well. And so Ganley rolls a 55 for an 8. It's a ground ball over to third base, and Bradley throws to first for the out. Clymer moves up to third, and there's one away here for Jim Delahanty. And this is where you have the question. So the only thing, because of the way that NP3 and also APBA is created, there's really not that much to dissuade you from bunting with the runner on a third, other than the possibility of striking out. So we're going to have Delahanty bunt here. He's hitting 301, but I think it's the best call. And the roll is a 61 for a 36, and he misses that one, but the runner Clymer able to steal home. How about that? And that makes this a 1-0 game in favor of the Senators. Delahanty's still up there. His next roll is a 15 for an 11. So that'll be a base hit and then a stolen base again off of Addie Joss, and that'll bring up Jerry Freeman. So far here in this one, the Senators have had the better of it. Only one away bottom of the first and a runner on at second base. Here comes Jerry Freeman. He rolls a 61 for 41. It's changed to 23. And that's going to allow the runner to steal third, and then he goes home on a wild throw there by the catcher Birmingham. That will be that. So, I'm sorry, the runner steals third, and then he's out. This is with 2 outs. A runner is out stealing third, and it says that the third baseman is injured. That's what's going on. So Bradley's going to end up having to leave this ball game. So the runner's out stealing third, that is Delahanty. And so we'll make a little change here in the field for Bradley. Let's see who can play third base here on the bench. It's going to be George Perring who's going to come up there. So Perring now playing third for Cleveland. There's 2 away now. Jerry Freeman's still up, and the roll is a 14 for 43. And a little E-roll is a 25, which is out of the range. It's a fly ball over to left, and Clark has that for the out. And after all that confusion, we go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 for Washington. Confusion there caused in part by me forgetting that there was only 1 out instead of 2. Here comes George Stovall, top of the second. Stovall rolls a 46 for a 29. That's a comebacker over to Hughes, who throws to first, and there's one away. Joe Birmingham up there now. And Birmingham rolls a 62 for a 12. It's a ground ball over to first. Freeman has that, goes to the back himself, and there's 2 away. Up now is Bill Hinchman. And Bill rolls a 65 for a 35. It's a pop-up. It'll be on the left side. And Freeman, the first baseman, the right side. The first baseman makes the catch for the out. And that does it. That was pretty fast. We go now to the bottom of the second inning. Still a 1-0 lead for the Senators. Up comes George McBride. He rolls a 26 for a 27. Ground ball to third. And pairing, the new third baseman throws to first. There's one away. Here comes Bill Shipka. And Bill rolls a 14 for a 43. There is a little E-roll. It's a 66, and that'll end up being just a fly ball over to left field. Clark has that for the out, and there's two away. Here comes Gabby Street. Gabby rolls a 36 for a 33. There is a little E-roll again. And this time it's a 14, so it is within the range. That'll be changed to a ground ball to third base, and that eats pairing up, and Street is on with the air on the third baseman. And that brings up Clyde Milan. And so you put in the backup third baseman, or the backup fielder at third base, and he gets an error almost right away. Milan rolls a 36 for a 33. There is a little E-roll here once again. And it's a 41 out of the range. Pop up over to third, and pairing does make the play this time for the out. And so we go to the top of the third inning. It is still a 1-0 ball game. Here comes Charlie Hickman for Cleveland. Up against Long Tom Hughes again. Rolls a 52 for a 27 ground ball to third, and Shipka's got that and throws over to first, one away. Harry Bemis up now for the Naps. He rolls a 64 for a 13 and will strike out. There's two away, and here comes Addie Joss. Joss hitting 143. The pitcher rolls a 66 for a 0, so that average is about to go up, and then a 25 for a 2. It's hit deep to left center field, and that one gets between Milan and Gainley, and Joss ends up over at third base with the triple with 2 outs, top of the third, and Cleveland down by a run. That'll bring up Josh Clark. And Clark's roll a 55 for an 8, and that's a fly ball over to right. Clymer's there, and he makes the catch for the out. And so now we go to the bottom of the third inning. The score is still 1-0 Washington. Here comes Hughes, the pitcher. He's hitting 037, so that's a lot worse. And he rolls a 15 for an 8. It's a pop-up this time to the left side, and it will be pairing making the catch for the out, one away. Otis Clymer comes up. He had a single and stole 2 bases last time, stealing in that run. He rolls a 53 for a 17, changed to a 20. It's a ground ball over to second, and Napoleon's there, throws to first, 2 away, and here comes Bob Gainley. Bob hitting 266, rolls a 51 for a 9, and he will strike out, and that will end the inning. So we go now to the top of the fourth, and it's going to be George Pairing who comes up here for the Naps. Still 1-0 game. Pairing hitting 205. He's up there mostly to bunt in the number 2 spot, and he rolls a 36 for a 33, and he strikes out, 1 away. Would have been better off bunting. Here comes Napoleon. His roll 13 for a 36, so that's going to be a ball. Next roll 32 for a 26. Ground ball over to second. Delahanty fields that and throws over to first, and there's 2 away. Here is George Stovall. And Stovall rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left, and Gainley's there for the out. And that does it again for Cleveland. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's still a 1-0 lead for the Senators. Here comes Jim Delahanty. Delahanty rolls a 42 for a 9 and will strike out. So second strikeout that Joss has collected, 1 away. And here's Jerry Freeman. Rolls a 31 for a 9. There's the third strikeout for Joss, 2 away. Up is George McBride. McBride rolls a 46 for a 29. It's a comebacker back to Joss, and he throws over to first for the out. And so we go to the top of the fifth inning. And it'll be George Birmingham up here for the Naps. This game going very, very quickly. Very little offense in this one. Birmingham's rolled 15 for an 11. That's a single to left. And he'll steal second base with Hinchman up there. So up is Bill Hinchman hitting 200. No need to bunt, and so we're going to let him swing away. He rolls a 43 for a 29. Comebacker to Hughes, and a ground ball to first. Freeman fields it and then flips over to Hughes covering the bag. There's 1 away, and here comes Charlie Hickman, and the infield comes in. Hickman, though, going, I think, to swing, well, let's take a look. I'm thinking about the number of 13s that he has. He only has 3 on his court, so I think we will bunt with him and see what happens. Roll 32 for a 26. That'll be a foul strike. Now 54 for a 45. There's a little E-roll. It's a 62, which is out of the range, so it's a good bunt to the left side. fielded by Shipka, who has only a play at first base. He throws over there for the out, and the run scores, and it's a 1-1 game. Here comes Harry Bemis now for the Naps, as Cleveland has come back to tie this one. Bemis rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left, and Gainley's there for the out. That sends us to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's a 1-1 tie. Here is Bill Shipka. Shipka hitting 269 in this replay up against Addie Joss. Joss, by the way, struck out 55 and walked 9. That shows you just how dominant he's been. Shipka's rolled 23 for a 32. Fly ball over to right, and Hickman's got that for the out, 1 away. Gabby Street up there now, and he's only hitting 117. Rolls a 36 for a 33. It's a pop-up over to second, and Lojoey's got that, 2 away. Here's Clyde Milan. His roll of 43 for a 29. That's a comebacker this time over to Joss, who throws on to first base. And we go now to the top of the 6th inning, tie ball game. 1-1 the score. Addie Joss will lead this off. Very little offense in this one. Joss rolls a 61 for a 13 and strikes out number 3 that Hughes has collected. 1 away, and here comes Clark. Rolls a 52 for a 27. It's a ground ball to third base, and Shipka fields that and throws to first for the out. 2 gone. Here's George Perring. He rolls the 13 for a 39, changed to 37. That's a strike. And the next roll is a 23. There we go. We're stable. For a 30. It's a fly ball to left. And Gainley is going to make that catch for the out. And so we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still a 1-1 tie. Here comes Long Tom Hughes. Hughes rolls a 62 for a 12. It's a ground ball over to first. Stovall, good first baseman, fields that, goes to the bag himself. 1 away. Otis Clymer up there now. He'll roll a 54 for a 45. There's a little E roll. It's going to be a 15. How about that? So that's going to be within the range. Change to a 18, which is a shortstop, and that'll be an error on Hinchman. So the second error of the ballgame against the Naps. That brings up Bob Gainley now finally with a guy on base to bunt over. Gainley 0 for 2 today. And he's going to bunt this one. It's a bunt over to the left side. Good bunt. Perring has to throw to Lojoey at first for the out. Clymer moves to second, and with 2 away, here comes Jim Delahanty. Delahanty so far today is 1 for 2 with a stolen base and then got caught trying to steal third. His roll is a 26 for a 13, so he'll strike out again. 4th strikeout that Joss has recorded, and that sends us now to the top of the 7th inning. It's still a 1-1 tie, so the Naps able to get out of that real tight spot. Here comes Lojoey. Napoleon hitting only 272. It's a little bit low for him. He rolls a 26 for a 27, ground ball to third. Shipka fields that and throws to first. There's 1 away. George Stovall up there now. And George rolls a 24 for a 13, and that's a strikeout. Hughes has collected 4 strikeouts himself. 2 gone, and here's Joe Birmingham. Rolls a 65 for a 35. It's a pop-up to the right side, and Freeman has that for the out, the first baseman. And so we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it remains a 1-1 tie. Here comes Jerry Freeman. About that pop-up, he's hitting 221, 0 for 2 today. Rolls a 14 for a 43, a fly ball to left, and Clark has that one easily. 1 gone. Here is George McBride. George rolls a 44 for an 8, ground ball to short, and it'll be easy for Hinchman, who throws to first, and there's 2 away. Here's Bill Shipka. He rolls a 52 for a 27. This time a ground ball over to Perring. The third baseman fields that and throws on to first. We go to the top of the 8th inning, and it's still a 1-1 tie. Still a tight ball game. Here's Bill Hinchman. Hinchman for Cleveland rolls a 51 for a 9. It's a pop-up to the left side. Shipka's got that one for the out, 1 away. Charlie Hickman rolls a 13 for a 14, and he gets aboard with a walk. It's only the first one that Hughes has given up. In fact, that's the first walk of this ball game. That'll bring up Harry Bemis, and he's going to bunt. And they roll 45 for a 14, so there's the second walk of the game. Long Tom Hughes, you had 1 job and didn't do it, and that brings up Addie Joss, who also has 1 job. Roll of 46 for a 13, that's a foul strike, and we've talked about that before. Strange, that's a foul strike, but when you look at what the boards say with the runner on third, the runner is thrown out at home. Next roll is a 22 for an 8, and that would have been a single normally, by the way, but instead it's a bunt back to Hughes, who turns and throws to Delahanty at first, and the runners move up, and that brings up Josh Clark. Now, with 2 outs, top of the 8th, the obvious thing to do here is to walk him, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk him. It would have been a 26. They would have gone out of the inning, but instead we issue the intentional walk, and that'll bring up George Perring. Perring's 0 for 2 today, hitting 202. And look at that. His roll is a 66 for a 0. Then a 16 for an 11. That'll be a single pass second. That allows 2 to score. Clark goes to third. Pairing then will steal second. And it's a 3-1 lead. And of course, this brings up LaJoey here. You're going to walk again. So we walk him. We're not even going to think about it. The roll would have been a 34. He would have been out. But they're not going to pitch to him in that situation. 3-1 now the score for the Naps. Still 2 away and the bases loaded again. Here's Stovall. And look at that. He rolls a 25 for an 8. That's a single through short. And that will score 2 more. And put runners on the corners again, and that's going to be it, I think, for Hughes. Hughes has given up 4 runs here in the top of the 8th, and those who want to second guess should start second guessing, because the big question is, was it actually worth it to walk those 2 men intentionally? Eli Cates comes on as a relief pitcher. He's pitched 14 innings, 0-1 his record, 1.29 ERA. He has struck out 5, walked 3, and we'll see how he does against Birmingham. Roll 36 for a 33. It's a pop-up to the right side. The second baseman, Delahanty, will make that catch for the out. And so we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. But Cleveland has really taken control of this game. Now they lead 5-1. Here's Gabby Street. Street rolls a 35 for a 38, changed to a 40. It's a foul. Next rolls a 51 for a 14, so 2 balls on him, 2-1 the count. Next rolls a 31 for a 14, so he gets 2 more balls and walks, and that'll bring up Clyde Milan. Normally you'd bunt in this situation, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because you're down by 4. So Milan's going to swing away. And look at that. He rolls a 66 for a 0. And that's going to be a 56 for a 6. That's a double over first base, and that sends Street over to third. And with nobody out, here comes Eli Cates. Now, he's not going to hit for himself, is he? So who are we going to put in is the question. It's probably going to be John Warner, who is, I think, one of 2 backup catchers. So we'll put Warner in. And now the Naps kind of have a choice, but I think they're going to pitch to Warner. It doesn't make sense to walk him and load the bases. Warner's roll is a 13 for a 14, so they do walk him. And Joss has given up 2 walks in this inning. Only 11 this season and 2 in this inning, the only 2 in this game, and that brings up Otis Clymer. Clymer today is 1 for 3. He stole 2 bases. One of those outs, however, was actually an error, so he's been on twice. And the roll is a 55 for an 8. That's a fly ball over to center field. Birmingham has that for the out, and it's deep enough to score the runner at third base. And so that makes this a 5-2 ball game. 1 away, here comes Bob Gainley, who is 0 for 2. He did sacrifice last time up, and we're going to have him do the same again. Rolls a 54 for a 45. There is a little E-roll. It's a 61, so it's out of the range. It's a bunt over to the left side. Pairing flips over to LaJoey at first. There's 2 away, and here comes Jim Delahanty with 2 on. Delahanty today 1 for 3. He's driven in 13. We'll see what Jim can do. And his roll is a 51, but for an 8. That's a fly ball over to center field. And Birmingham has that one for the out. It's time for another pitching change. And who are we going to put in here? Might as well put in Henry Gehring, because I don't think he has pitched before. Wow, we've given him 13 innings. How about that? Henry Gehring, who has an awful record, is going to come in. Awful grade, that is. 13 innings pitched, 15 hits allowed. So we'll see what he does. He's up against Bill Hinchman here. In the top of the 9th, 5-2 Cleveland with the lead. That's why you put this guy in. Roll is a 61 for a 13 for Hinchman. There is a strikeout for Gehring, his first of the season, 1 away. Charlie Hickman comes up next. He's 0 for 1, bunted and walked. His roll 42 for a 13, 2 strikeouts now for Gehring, and that'll bring up Harry Bemis. And his roll 22 for an 8, and he gives up a single to left center, and that brings up Addie Joss. Joss today 1 for 2 and did bunt. He had that big triple. And his roll 15 for an 11. That's going to be a single over first, sends Bemis to third, and Joss gets a rare stolen base. We'll bring up Josh Clark now. And his roll is a 22 for an 8. There's a single over first that will score 1, but Joss is thrown out trying to score. And we'll go now to the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Naps end up with 1 more in the top of the 9th, and it's a 6-2 lead. Here comes Jerry Freeman up trying to figure out Addie Joss. He's over 3. His roll is a 61 for a 41, changed to a 40. That'll be a foul ball. Next roll is a 42 for a 13. He strikes out. That's number 5 for Joss. 1 away. Here's George McBride. George rolls a 64 for a 13, and that's another strikeout, number 6 for Joss. 2 away, and here's Shipka. Bill rolls a 31 for a 14, so that's 2 balls on him. Next rolls a 14 for a 30. That's a fly ball over to left field, and Clark is there. He makes the catch for the out, and there you have it. So Addie Joss goes the distance. The Naps wind up with 6 runs, and those intentional walks are the big question. Do you walk him or not? Final score in this one, Naps 6, Senators 2. Hope you enjoyed this game. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.